by their ears, drive their nose into your knee, drag them down to the ground, put your knee in the back of their skull, and pound the shit out of them. You didn't ask for it, but you reciprocated. You invited them to walk away. They won't. Well, in trading, at that moment, especially for young men, this is Sparta, bitch. I'm here now, and I don't need to wait for no setup. Front kick, boom. But you find out you're the one falling down. You're the one feeling that gut kick to the solar plexus, and you can't breathe now because you pushed the button. You can't take it back. You can't take it back. What does that mean? You know you shouldn't have entered there. Sound logic would be, all right, this is premature entry. Just close it right now and wait for the setup. But you won't. You won't. Because the thing that pushed you into that impulsively is telling you right now, man, I hope it keeps going up from here. I hope it keeps going up here. Please don't drop. Please don't drop. Please don't drop. When it's so much less pain and suffering just to close the trade and then wait for that setup. You might have a little bit of drawdown and the commission costs that you spent. Okay. But you have preserved your mental capital. The money that you're spending and potentially losing on that trade is insignificant in terms of the amount of debt that you're going to carry mentally as a trader for the rest of your career by doing that silly shit. Think about it. How many times have you been in a trade where even if it went to the worst case scenario and ran all the way to wherever your stop would have been. Notice I said that. But some of you aren't trading with a stop loss. What's the worst that's going to happen? That loss doesn't end you. But in your mind, you've lost a limb. You've lost your strong arm. How else could you ever go back into trading if you lose this trade? If I lose this trade, I can't imagine ever wanting to do this again. That's the equivalent of what you're doing. But where was the motivation that led you to that moment? Right when it came to the time where you push that button, it transforms into impulsiveness. That moment, right before you take your trade, you have to really, really know what you're doing. You have to know exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it. And before you press the button to get into it, you have to know exactly where your static maximum risk is, and there must be a stop loss there. Because once you have that, see, you're trying to avoid that stop loss because you're afraid it's going to hit it. Whereas a professional-minded trader, they want to know what that is so that way they don't worry about it. This is what I'm willing to lose. If I'm wrong, okay, I'm willing to take that as a loss. But you want to trade with the maximum leverage. So it makes perfect sense for you to try to avoid everything ever getting... You'll never get stopped out. You'll never get stopped out if you never use a stop loss. You know what that is? Head and ass syndrome. Your head's too far up your ass and you can't see things properly. I'm sorry, I can't see it your perspective. I used to see it like that. I went through that same thing. But I pulled my own head out of my own ass and started looking at things correctly. And some of you are fighting me on this. No, you don't get it, ICT. I'm different. I'm going to be the exception. No, you're not. You're just going to do it worse. But you'll never talk about it. You're never going to tell anybody what you did. When that would probably be the best thing for you. It disarms you. It makes you human. It proves that we're fallible. We're not infallible. Some of you think I'm infallible as a trader. Sometimes I don't do it right. Sometimes it doesn't work out where I want it to go. Like there's many instances where I've told my son, so that, I would like to see it do this, do that. And then there it is. And we sat together and he's like, hey, but Dad, it did this, and you entered there and it didn't do what you thought. So how would I know that experience? And some of you don't want to hear that answer. 30 years, folks, that's a long time to be looking at stuff that's doing the same stuff all the time. You get used to it. You know with confidence that one trade that you're looking at right now, even if it fails, and the 3 after it fails, it doesn't change the efficacy of the model. It doesn't change you as the trader. It just means if you execute on them, you might have incurred loss. But are you allowing for and inviting those losing trades, those losses, to take you completely out of the model and completely away from trading and or having the ability to be solvent to trade? It's amazing how traders that get so worked up chasing other people's bullshit online, these things that people promote falsely, they don't have any evidence that they can do it. They don't talk about it before it happens. They don't use a model or an approach that is applicable or you can see being used in the executions. You don't even see their executions. They just tell you, this is a trade I took. And they're using the buy and sell overlay thing on TradingView. That's not even an entry with a demo. That's just, here's a trade I took. I think I got in right on here. Listen to what they say. They tell on themselves, but they're selling mentorships. That's frustrating for somebody that knows what the fuck's going on and have taught, man, I don't know how many people, but I've taught a lot of people for free. And it's just my tolerance for it is gone. It's gone. And I don't try to influence all you in that respect. I mean, but if you're going to be trying to pay somebody for something, they better have the goods. They better be able to prove that they can do what they're claiming they can do, instead of talk about something on the left side of the chart. But you all fall victim to that stuff. This image-based stuff. Materialistic stuff. And you resist sound logic, real money-making, money preservation insights. That I went through this stuff. I had to lose a lot of money to learn these lessons, and I'm trying to very much remove the necessity for you to go through that same stuff. And you don't want to listen. Like my own kids, they don't listen. You wonder why my own sons do the things that they do? The same reason why you ain't listening to me. Just because they have my DNA in them doesn't mean that they're gonna. Oh no, it's a symbiotic relationship. I'm ICT's offspring. It's whatever the main one says. All the ones like there's this relationship where whatever, it's a hive mentality. The word escapes me, but it's kind of like the show The Last of Us. The fungus, whatever one fungus feels or experiences, they all feel at the same time. That doesn't happen because they're my kids. They're discovering themselves too. And they're discovering that they're human. And guess what humans are? We're terrible decision makers. That's a skill set that has to be honed and beaten into us. As the scripture says, iron sharpens iron. Meaning, it's not going to be easy. If iron had feelings and nerve endings, it probably would be wincing when you rub it against another piece of iron. When you take that raw piece of metal and you want to forge it into a blade, what do you have to do to it? You have to harm it. You have to do damage to it. You got to take its useless edges off and make one useful edge. That edge is your edge that you're going to use as a weapon or a tool. Knife, a blade. But many of you want to go out to the market and you do all this work in preparation, and you have this high-tech 50 caliber sniper rifle in your hands, and you show up and you're right there. You're sitting there, you're waiting for it. You're looking through your scope. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And then all of a sudden the market starts to run. And what do? You reach for your fucking baseball bat and you chase it. What the hell is that? That's caveman mentality. That's not civilized. That's uncivilized. That's savagery. We're waiting for the mark to walk into the crosshairs, gently hug the trigger, and be confident that we have executed precisely what our model is expecting us to do. We will not second guess it because we've done everything up to the point of engagement and entry. Our stop loss is there. We don't worry about it because we're comfortable with the risk. But if I'm honest, ICT, that means I can only really risk $75. Right. Exactly. That's why you're trading with a fucking micro. Okay. That's why you're doing that. It's not about how much you can make. It's how much you can afford to lose and still stay in the game while you're learning. For the folks that says you can't make money with a micro. Oh, you can't make money with a micro account. You got to have this and that and the other thing. you are not versed in math. You have no idea. Rudimentary math is escaping you. Because if you can have a model, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be my stuff. I'll say it again. It doesn't have to be what I teach. It could be anything out there that causes you to have a decision. If you risk very little and you're very, very good at managing money and don't overtrade, you can be profitable doing this. You're going to have a lot of losing trades, and that might not sit well with some of you, most of you. In fact, 99.9% of you, whether you are a profitable student or trader with my stuff or something else, you might be just listening to this and not even a trader. You're like, I use Elliott Wave and I've made money and this, that, and other thing. Okay, you made money because you are able to weather the losing trades. But nobody wants to warm up to the idea that you're going to lose a lot in the beginning. You're trying to avoid that. When the whole secret is to do that very thing in the beginning. Because all the lessons that it teaches you removes the invitation for you to take that motivation and let it become impulse. If you have gone to the stage of now you're in that position where the trade that you're going to enter has a real risk of failing a funded account or drawing down in a funded account combine or losing real money in a live account. If you got to that point and you have not overcome this worrisome thoughts of what am I really looking for? Where should I place my stop loss? Am I comfortable with what I'm risking here? Is that stop really hard? Is it there? Is it an implied or a mental stop? Because they don't work. Try to use a mental stop on a CPI. You're going to be mental afterwards. You're literally going to be warped. And a real stop loss doesn't work there either. So what does that teach you? Why do I even talk about CPI? If you're not going to trade ahead of CPI, ICT, why even talk about it? Or you get the guys that, this is where the volatility is. Okay, show me trading before the CPI. Getting it right. Crickets. And the ones that try get their asses handed to them in devastating fashion. That's embarrassing. And some of these people, well, let's be honest, most of them that are doing those things are selling something of a course, a room, or they have their own brokerage. That's nonsensical. It's ludicrous to invite those instances in your trading. You want it to be boring. You want it to be where if you lose, who cares? I'm still going to do this same model on the next setup based on the logic. If the trade failed here, but the overall conditions of the marketplace are as they should be still, I'm going to take the next setup. There it is. It's done. I already have it in my head. That's what I'm going to do. Unless I'm proven incorrect, and therefore I either need to move to the sidelines and wait for new information or reverse. But that's not always a reverse. In the beginning, that motivation, hey, I'm going to get in this trade, and you do it wrong, or if you get squeezed out of the trade because you don't have a stop loss because you chased price, that pressure that you're feeling is going to make you think you got it wrong, and you'll abandon your model. And then what do? Become impulsive again and say, oh, I got it wrong. Not realizing that you just didn't do what you were supposed to do and wait for the setup. You'll reverse in the natural progression of the retracement that your original trade idea should have been waited for. So you did it wrong, chasing it. Then you're scared because it's retracing on you, and you reverse. And then the trade goes where you want it to go. But then here's where you lie to yourself. I knew this was going to happen, and the broker, they slipped me, and I had to you're lying. You fucking chased the price. You did it incorrectly. And then you changed your mind because you couldn't handle the pressure of the retracement because you were misplaced. You weren't offside. You had a poor entry, poor execution. You did it poorly. You should have closed the trade, sat and waited for the setup. Not make one decision incorrectly and then impulsively fix a mistake doing the opposite, where the analysis didn't say anything about that trade reversing and going lower. You have succumbed to your own emotions. and poor psychology that's now being stirred up because you're in the market, you chased price, and you didn't do anything, and you completely lost the plot. Uncomfortable, isn't it? It just happened to you this week, didn't it? Market went where you thought it was going to go, but you lost on your trades. I just pegged you. How do I know it? Because I did that when I was 20. I did it. Multiple accounts. Some of it resulted in losing trade accounts entirely. Do you need to lose your trades in stunning fashion or blow your accounts to learn that lesson from me? I would have loved to have someone explain it to me like this. I would have never looked at them and said, "Wow, dude, you're talking about all this terrible stuff. Like, motivate me, man." I would have never done that. I would have been like, "You know what? This is exactly what I need to hear. You're not fluffing me up with some bullshit. You're not here promising me that I'm going to get rich overnight. You're giving me the things I have to concern myself with, that I'm going to have to wrestle with. These are the real things. These are the brass tacks of trading." And when you hear it, it feels like I'm talking down to you, or someone new to come here. "Oh, I don't want to listen to this guy. He's talking down to his students." No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm talking to you eye to eye. I'm coming to where you are because I've been there. I'm not talking down to you. I'm taking myself right back to the location where you're at right now and telling you, the guy that you look highly up, and have high regard for now, I didn't get this insight, by having fucking candy bars shoved up my ass, okay? It hasn't been easy. It's literally a war. You have to go through a lot of stuff. And books just don't make it plain enough for you. Like, you have to go through it. And it's not easy. There is no shortcuts to it. It's all normal, though. And the way you get through it is to get through it. And how do you do it successfully? By not having a whole lot of result-oriented, progress in terms of a monetary sense. So remove that. Because if you can do one thing, that's your cookie cutter approach, that little thing that you do over and over and over again that repeats. What does that mean? Well, husbands and boyfriends, or those in the culinary arts, you go down to your kitchen, pull open the drawer that has all your cookie cutters in it. Just reach in there, grab one randomly. Doesn't matter which one it is. Okay. And you grab that cookie cutter in your hand, close your eyes, and then hold it in your hand and feel it. The shape. It's the star, or it's the snowman cookie cutter for Christmas. It might be the pumpkin, cookie cutter for a cutout for, and Halloween's coming out, and Thanksgiving. All those bends and contortions in the shape of that cookie cutter. You don't need to lay eyes on that. You just know it. You know it intimately because you can feel it. You've seen it before. Why? Why are you comfortable if I was to ask you what you're holding? What cookie cutter is it? Because you've seen it before. You don't need to lay your eyes on it. If you open your eyes up, it's going to be the very thing you just said. Why? Experience. But you didn't look at it. The same thing is what you're conditioning yourself to do with this price action. You know that this fair value gap is going to form. It's going to fucking form every single day between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock without fail. It will always be there. 100% it's going to be there. You need not worry about it. It's going to fucking be there. I don't care if they're blowing shit up around the fucking world. I don't care if the fucking president gets fucking